Hey everyone, we are at PAX West, and I am joined by a special guest, Gordon Mah Ung from PC World.
Hey, how's it going?
If you don't know who Gordon is, Gordon's been in the industry a while, Maximum PC, right, for a long time, plenty of other magazines, I guess, actual magazines.
Yeah, back when they still used paper.
Yes, and I have a lot of respect for the work Gordon's done in the industry, and he's got some of the best ethics in the industry, so I wanted to bring Gordon on and talk about the RTX launch, or announcement as it were. Before that, this video is brought to you by Lian Li's O11 Dynamic, a case largely designed by overclocker Der Bauer for high performance water cooling, though our performance testing also illustrated strong air cooling performance. The O11 Dynamic is affordable, high build quality, and offers a unique form factor case with dual PSU support. Buy one now at the link in the description below. So where do we start with this?
So, I mean, because it feels like it changes every hour because there's new leak benchmarks saying it's faster than this or it's faster than that. It definitely feels to me like there's sort of controlled leaks because NVIDIA is trying to reclaim sort of the narrative on this card.
Yeah.
Which I honestly think, now I'm gonna ask you, Steve, because you're the #1 person, like you are, I looked it up on the internet, like when you looked up RTX 2080, don't buy it, it's got your picture. I want to know though, are we getting a little too far down the hate? It's gone from people saying, I want to know, to people are cheering it failing. Do you think that?
That's way too far.
No?
Yeah, that's taking it way, like if you're cheering for failure of hardware, that's taking it way too far, I think.
Sure.
Because if someone's cheering for failure of a component, it indicates that they have a bias somewhere else,
right,
which is either against the company they want failure of, or for the other company, and both of those, it doesn't make sense. Like, the companies aren't your friends.
Sure.
So,
sure.
yeah, if anyone's cheering for failure, I'd say that's taking it a little too far.
Right. I mean, ultimately, this comes down to when you get the hardware in your hand, Brad's going to get ours, we're going to test the cards, is it going to be worth it? That's when we should ultimately judge it, right?
Yes, that is the bottom line, yeah.
So I need your credit card because I need to pre-order that now.
It's a bit pricey, right? It's a little up there. There is a lot of discussion on that too.
Okay, so here's my question though. Now I love playing devil's advocate. That's a lot of people think those are my opinions. I have no opinion. I'm a nihilist, right? If they'd come out with the 2080 and they said, oh, this shit is 3 times faster than a 1080 Ti, $1,100. Would people go like, yeah? Or would they be like, gah?
That's hard to say.
Right?
I think it depends on the audience. Like, it depends on who it is, because if we were talking about this type of person who gets hyped about that kind of performance, they have the lifestyle that can support it, they don't care about the price, and it's cool to be excited about it, but you do have to obviously be responsible, right,
sure,
with what you're spending. Yeah.
But everybody, what I'm saying is everybody's like, oh, ray tracing's useless, this is the dumbest gimmick ever. But if they had said 3.5x at 4K HDR,
right. Well, then
$1,200.
Then you're talking numbers that people today understand. Right? People understand rasterization,
right,
and frame rate, and yeah. So if I think if NVIDIA marketed the frame rate angle with 4K or whatever, it'd be something everyone understands a bit better. So the response probably would have been completely different.
But I
don't think that's the right thing they should have done, but that's...
No, this is them trying to make that right or left turn or whatever,
right.
But I guess I wonder, I just don't, so much of it's about the price, because people are like, I want 1080 Ti performance at a 1060 price.
Right.
That's just, right, is that unrealistic?
Too much. Yeah, it's too much. What do you think? What would you, if you were not in editorial land and you were a consumer, what would you reasonably want to pay for one of those cards?
Honestly, I sort of wish that 2080 were a little more palatable. Maybe $100 less of the sort of, I don't even know what the price is anyway, because it's like, it's $700 today, it's $600 tomorrow, I don't even know what it is. But if it were $550, I'd feel a lot better. I would feel a lot less nervous. So, I mean, definitely people are really nervous as hell right now, and you know, we were just in this panel, and Pedro from PCMR was like, yeah, you know, the fact that they don't talk about performance, everybody's immediately, it's very concerning, right? So people are very, very concerned.
Triggers skepticism, I think, too, because especially on our side, because if you see that there's no discussion of performance, I think the natural response is, what are they hiding? And it might be nothing.
Oh,
but
yes.
it could also be something. So I guess the way marketing works with these companies, you always assume that what you're getting is not the full picture and that there's something else to be discovered. But that's not always the case, obviously.
Right. So, but on the ray tracing part, so
yes.
we hear all the hate on the ray tracing. I don't need it. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. How does NVIDIA pivot to bring us to ray tracing, while still giving us a part that makes everybody happy with their current library, your 99% of your library?
Okay, so we've teleported because there was noise because we're at a convention. So we were saying
before a whole bunch of Radeon fans ran us off the floor. They came up, they chased us out. They said, get out of here. I'm making that up.
Yeah.
I had one beer, so I'm making things up. So what were we talking about? We were talking about like how does NVIDIA do that pivot?
How do you get ray tracing if that's really what we need right now? Right? If that's the next thing, we can't do much with other graphics techniques until we get ray tracing. How do you do that and solve the chicken or the egg problem of developers don't have the hardware so they can't make the games,
right?
And consumers don't have games so they don't want the hardware.
Right. I don't. Somebody has to go forward, right? Somebody has to take that first step. And that to me is that's why I feel like it's kind of unfortunate on the ray tracing part. But yeah, at the same time, am I going to fund a game that's not going to come out for hardware for games that don't realistically come out for 3 to 4 years?
Oh yeah, because I mean, as a consumer, if that's fully the case, I would wait because what's the point of having it if you can't really use it?
Right.
So it's kind of like buying a 4K TV back in the day when there's no 4K content.
Right.
Like other than being cool, there's not a ton of point to it. So. Yeah, definitely. That's a big challenge.
It's like the folks, and we know them, who went out and they bought 4K panels. 4 years ago, right? They've been sitting on these $2,500 4K panels for 4 years. Now you probably can run 4K content, and you can do it on a $180 panel. Yeah, that's probably actually better than that $2,500 4K panel.
Probably,
right?
yeah.
It's a stiff. I mean, I understand that. That's that stiff ass, right? I mean,
as long as there's still good performance just in normal shaders and rasterization, I guess you can justify it. And until we see performance numbers and run the test ourselves, we obviously can't really make a firm statement.
So you're not pre-buying it? You're not pre-ordering it? He's lying. I saw his order.
Yeah.
He's got like 3 of them on order.
That's right. We bought all of them.
He did that video just so he could buy them all.
So I could get them all. I wanted them all for myself.
All of them for himself.
Yes. I wouldn't pre-buy as a consumer anyway. It doesn't matter what card it is.
We were talking about this earlier, and I just got to ask, who goes out and just puts down $1,000 for something they don't even know what it is? Who really does that? That is a new thing to me. I've been around PC enthusiasts for forever, but who pre-orders this stuff?
I don't know. I think so. First of all, if you've pre-ordered it, it's not personal. We don't hate you. But it is a good question though, and I think a lot of it comes from like the game developer culture where we've been pushed into pre-ordering games to get special treatment or something. So people have gotten used to that, right?
Oh my God, you're right. Those who buy RTX 2080, breaking news, Gamers Nexus can tell you this right now.
Yes.
You pre-order RTX 2080, 2 extra levels, that's a 3 anyway. No, I'm making that up.
Yes, two for one.
You get nothing. So you get nothing. You pre-order this.
You get it first. That's what you get.
But it is fair. If you're rolling around a Ferrari, who cares? I'm buying this to make you feel bad. And if I had a Ferrari, I would buy the 2080 Ti, just 2 of them, just to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because if I had a Ferrari, who cares? I don't care what you think.
Right. Yeah.
But other than that, no, never.
Other than that, general consumer, our audience, I wouldn't. And it's not. I don't know. Some people from NVIDIA mentioned this at their event too, where they were sort of saying to me, "Hey, people are saying don't pre-order this," and I felt bad about it. But I don't know. We don't. It's not just RTX. It's just in general any hardware that you don't know anything about.
Yeah. Why would you ever?
I wouldn't pre-order an Intel or AMD CPU without any benchmarks either.
No. No, that's crazy. But you know what I just heard? I heard 9900K is going to have soldering.
Oh yeah. I saw that. Yes. And it looks like it's real this time. So.
All right, so I'm gonna bring this up as somebody who has wondered for years, because we hear one half the internet says no solder sucks, paste is just as good. And for some people, and I have somewhat defended Intel in this in the past. They sort of know it's a billion-dollar company, multi-billion. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
If they're saying that they can do this on paste, then maybe it's okay. Now they're making us all look like fools, right? If they really do solder, then they're like coming out and saying, yeah, okay, solder's better. Well,
right.
but you've been telling us the solder doesn't matter, right? And or it's going to crack or whatever. So I don't know how to square that. I mean, it really does make me feel like an idiot. But
well, hey,
but I am an idiot most of the time.
That's not true. You do good work, Gordon.
No.
Keep your head in the game.
Yeah. I just don't get it because how do you square that? If paste good, but now solder better, and you've been telling us paste is good, but
I think it comes down to they didn't need to use solder, and now if Intel stock is trying to get an extra 100 megahertz or whatever, they might need that thermal headroom, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And it matters now because now it's not just Intel versus Intel anymore.
All right, guys, a really good point, Steve. Because to get to 8 cores with this chip, you need it. All those cores, 8 cores, solder good.
That's gonna be hot.
7980, 16 cores, paste.
Yeah.
No, right?
Yeah, it's a mess.
I don't know. I could understand. Okay, whatever. 6-core 8700K, you're in the cheap seats. You're not getting the solder. We're going to do the solder on the Xeon part. But 7980XE was solder.
It's paste, yeah.
There's no way that Intel could come back and say, we did this because
No, it's very clear that it was never the case that actually paste is the best, right? It's pretty obvious. Intel's more or less indirectly admitting it by soldering their next CPU. So, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how to square that, especially if you have a $2,000 18-core CPU with thermal paste on it, right?
That was not really tenable to me. I was delitting 7980XEs for other YouTubers because they want to overclock it or use it, in high-end applications, and it should be soldered.
But paste is just as good as solder.
That's what I've been told.
Because why would they? Yeah. Why would they do that?
Well, the arguments are that solder on I think it was a smaller die, cracks or something.
Right.
Or microfractures. 7980XE is a pretty big die.
Yes, that's what I never.
And there's no solder on that.
I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't. I don't know what to say there.
Would you welcome the change, moving to solder? Do you care?
I'm not one to delid $2,000 CPUs,
sure.
And I'm not one probably to delid a $500 CPU because I like warranties. But I would expect that it is a premium part, even though it's just in a paper box, cardboard box, that they would do the absolute best to make it better for the end user. So I got to say, if really this 8-core part comes out and it's soldered and it really just. It's a complete about face. It's kind of disappointing, I gotta say. There's really no way to square that. I think it really does. They should just come out and say, yeah. Sorry.
You guys
it was better for us because look, we got $50 more from the CPU, so it's better for us.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a tough one to swallow.
Yes, I'll be happy to see it, I guess, but definitely it leaves you a little bit skeptical of the reasoning we've heard for the past CPUs. Because like you're saying, it looks like they could do it the whole time.
Yeah.
So what's
right. If you can do the solder and they $450 or $500, but you can't do it on a $2,000 CPU, it does make you wonder what's up. I don't know.
So are you happy with the current industry trends then? We've got Intel pushing for maybe solder. That looks good.
That's good.
We have NVIDIA trying to do something new. That's maybe good. We'll see.
Right.
How do you feel about the overall direction of the big three companies?
I gotta say overall, it's wonderful in a lot of ways. Threadripper got some weaknesses, but still awesomeness for 32 cores for that price. Intel pushing 8-core super high clock, good part. We don't know what they're gonna do with the 28-core part that comes out later, but at least they're trying. So all that competition is driving that price is awesome. NVIDIA clearly trying to pivot. Is it going to make it? I don't know. Should you do it? I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. The biggest weakness is AMD Radeon, right? So we really need AMD to just do something.
Yeah. My concern is AMD falling behind too much, because it's clear with the way companies act when they get in these dominant positions, you really want that competitor, and it's got to be more than just the underdog at some point. So yeah, AMD Navi's really got to prove itself, I think.
But if it isn't a heavy ray tracing part, and AMD says, "Hey, look, we can get you 120 frames a second at 4K HDR,"
right?
Versus 1080 ray trace 4K, we're going to be like going like this, right? What's your prediction on which way the consumers are going to go? Do they want way more frame rates at high res, or do they want really cool ray tracing?
Without a lot of re-education towards ray tracing, I think right now it would probably go towards frame rate, because that's what everyone understands. But we've seen these schisms before where you kind of get two paths and it's like frequency or cores or something like that. So the industry's gone through it before. It's gone through it with memory before, and I don't know. I don't know which way it would go. I feel like it's going to go rasterization, but NVIDIA has a lot of marketing money, and they have a lot of MDF they can give to game developers and really get ray tracing rolling. So,
which isn't necessarily bad, right?
Right.
Somebody's got to get the ray tracing ball started.
Yeah.
So that's got to be fair. But I heard you're already going to pre-order Navi, so that's
I actually have one.
Yeah, he already has.
Yeah, Raja gave it to me before he left. Yes. Took it out of the prototype lab.
You have to say,
don't tell anyone.
Just buy it, I think, right?
Just buy it.
Just buy it.
Just buy it. So there you go, Gordon telling you, just buy it.
Navi.
Navi. Just buy it.
Just buy it. Yeah, I've already pre-ordered. I just put $500 in an envelope and I wrote AMD.
I just put it in the mail.
Send it off.
Did the mailman look pretty happy with that?
Yeah, there wasn't even an address. It was like, okay.
Just mailing it off to Santa. Thank you, AMD. All right, well, if you wanted to see more Gordon, he's got a podcast that's pretty cool. We were on it recently on the PC World channel on YouTube, I believe.
Yep.
And PCWorld.com for the website?
PCWorld.com, yes.
So check him out there. Gordon, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for the time.
We'll see you all next time.